Thanks for tuning in to the Urban Scope podcast. We will be talking Darvin Ham. Recently, Darvin Ham, I seen an article on Yahoo Sports that Darvin Ham said after the game, winning the NBA Commissioner's Cup this year, he said, "Crazy! It was crazy that the Lakers fired him." He said if he was anywhere else, he would probably be looking at an extension. So I'm going to break this down a little bit and talk about what I think about his comments. Uh, like I said, Darvin Ham was the coach of the Lakers for 2 years, and he was let go. Um, I'll get into some of his stats as well. Right now, he's just the assistant coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, and he just won his second straight Commissioner's Cup. So he as a coach, as a head coach, he won the first year, and then this year he won as assistant coach for the Milwaukee Bucks. So two different teams, two different positions. Um, and from what I can see, Darvin Ham was a very stern coach, and he seemed like he was very competent. But many asked, why did he not return? So there was a couple ways to look at this. So he only won 54% of his games in the 2 years with the Lakers, but he did go to the conference finals the first year, and then the second year he was out in the first round. So a couple ways to look at this. So the first year that they went to the conference finals, they was more successful that first year. Um, you have to think about Anthony Davis missed 28 games. LeBron missed 27 games, and they still was able to be successful. However, they had to face some difficulties and some adversities along the way because they had a good team with good players, but at the same time, that chemistry still can be off. And like I said, he was dealing with aging players. AD is a lot younger than LeBron, but at the same time, with all the injury history he has and wear and tear on his body, he's a lot older and from a physical standpoint. So I came up with several reasons why you can't necessarily just put all the blame on Darvin Ham as the coach. Being the Lakers coach, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. It's a lot of pressure from the media. There's a lot of pressure from fans. So you have pressure uh, from all different places, right? So one of the reasons why I couldn't blame him solely was just simply the chemistry issues. The first year, and not to put all of this on Russell Westbrook, but they wanted to go with Russell Westbrook. Most of us as fans, we automatically knew this wasn't going to work because Russell Westbrook is a pass first point guard. He averages a lot of assists and he gets a lot of assists, but most of that is out of the excitement of a triple double. He's not looking. Russ is an attacker. You look at him like a Derrick Rose. He's in that mold. So he'll pass on the way to get his own shot, but he's initially looking for his own shot or he's not looking to set up offense per se. And for LeBron, he's ball dominant just like Russell Westbrook. And in order for the offense to work, it's only one basketball to go around. So we knew it's going to be some complicated issues there. And then with Anthony Davis, he's out a lot with injuries. LeBron's getting older. Um, it just was a bad fit. If you wanted to get a point guard, they should have went out and got a pure point guard. Chris Paul would have worked better in that situation. So they should have known better if we knew better as fans. But they just want to put a lot of collection of talent together because you're in Hollywood, you're in LA, you're gonna need to sell tickets. And Russell Westbrook is box office. A lot of people go out to see him go to get the triple double, to see things that he does from a 6'3" point guard shouldn't be able to do. The way he rebounds and the way he scores is unique for a 6'3" guy in the NBA. 6'3" is very tall in the average world, but in NBA that's like 5'9" or something probably. There's a lot of 7-footers and taller players. So what he was able to do and be box office uh, sold tickets, and it made sense for the Lakers from the ownership side. But from a player side, Darvin Ham was already working with one shoe on, one shoe off, because, like I said, to conduct that offense was going to be different. And I didn't even list this one, but now that I think about it, Darvin Ham was behind because he had a lot of strong personalities and a lot of marquee talent, because we know the coaches don't make as much as the players. What is a Darvin Ham going to tell a LeBron James? What is he going to tell a Russell Westbrook? What is he going to tell Anthony Davis? Uh, these players hold a lot of power. So if you're not in a good favor with these players, or you question their decisions, you could be gone at the blink of an eye. We've seen that in Milwaukee, um, with the coaches in Milwaukee. We've seen this is with Lakers back in the day with Magic. Uh, Jordan could have pulled power if he wanted to, but probably not, because players didn't have that power back then. But Darvin Ham was already working with a disadvantage from the jump. Um, and I'll get into the coaches that LeBron's coached later on in my soliloquy. Um, and then, like you said, he hit the stars, just missed games. But one of the biggest reasons why Darvin Ham wasn't successful as a coach for the Lakers had nothing to do with anything other than the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets, they went against a buzzsaw in the Denver Nuggets the first year in the conference final and were swept. All the games were close, but when push came to shove, you had a Jamal Murray making shots. You had a Nikola Jokic making shots. And that was the difference. They had shot makers and the Lakers didn't. They made the plays and the Lakers didn't. Now, they made it very competitive and very a concerted effort, but at the end of the day, the Nuggets were obviously the better team. And then you come back the next year, Darvin Ham's Lakers had to play the Nuggets again. They was able to pull out one win, but it was kind of like it was already too late at that point. But that was probably the biggest reason why Darvin Ham didn't come back, because he couldn't get over the hump of the Nuggets. But the Nuggets was a much younger team. They had way more depth, and they had more chemistry. Like, this team had been working on this team for years, and they finally got it together. So that wasn't Darvin Ham's fault. It was, like I said, he was damned if he did or damned if he didn't at that point, because, like I said, the Lakers was a new team, chemistry was off. They had a bunch of pieces that didn't fit, and that seems to be the themes with, like, a lot of LeBron James led teams, is they, like I said, the chemistry issues. So we'll see how LeBron works as a GM, but as a player, it hasn't been good so far. Well, he's at the end now. He's in year 22, so it's been pretty much bad for most of the time. For him to have 4 rings is pretty amazing with the talent that they put around him. Um, and another reason why Darvin Ham wasn't going to make it is because he wasn't LeBron's pick. He was already selected. I'm pretty sure he had input in it, but you see, he picked J.J. Redick as his coach now, and LeBron takes off games when he wants. Pretty much does what he wants now. Ty Lue knew from the jump. Ty Lue had serious health problems coaching LeBron. It's a lot of pressure that you get, and it's a lot of responsibility and a lot of sleepless nights. And it's very difficult to coach a LeBron or one of these aging superstars, especially because, like I said, they think they know best, and sometimes they do. But everyone has a job, and everyone needs to play to that job. Um, and like I said, we talked about the media. Everyone's calling for Darvin Ham to be fired, questioning his lineups, but he didn't have much to work with. If you dealt a hand in spades, if you give me no face cards that give me no spades, how am I supposed to win? I can only play as best as I can. I might can get a book or two, but that's all Darvin Ham was able to get, a book or two. He had a couple aces, and that was it. As far as, beating these other guys with spades, he was at a disadvantage. So that was kind of unfair for him to get fired, I think, from just the talent that they gave him. He can coach it better. They could have gave him Red Aura back, and he wouldn't be able to pull off a championship. Darvin Ham did as best as he could, and getting him to the conference final was an overachievement, I think, with the talent that he had. And then lastly, the reason why you can't blame a Darvin Ham is because coaching LeBron, most coaches have been fired under his watch, except for maybe an Eric Spoelstra, or Ty Lue never got fired, but he left the year and went to the Lakers, and then Ty Lue went to the Clippers. But every other coach, when you think about it, David Blatt, you think about Frank Vogel, who was fired before Darvin Ham. All of these coaches have one thing in common: as coaching LeBron and the expectations from the media. They have to have somebody to blame, and LeBron is usually not going to take that blame. And when he does take the blame, it's from a few people. It might be a Skip Bayless or maybe a Stephen A. Smith, but you're not going to get too many people that's going to blame LeBron, especially when he's putting up 28 points and 9 rebounds and 6 assists a night, or 8 assists a night. You're not going to blame that guy. You're going to look to blame the next person. So it was Russell Westbrook one time, and it was Kyrie, and then it was Anthony Davis, and then they started blaming D Wade. So you're going to get other people to take that blame. He's usually not going to take that blame. So uh, pretty, in conclusion, Darvin Ham didn't deserve to be fired. Like I said, like he said, he would be looking at extension anywhere else, despite only winning 54% of his games. But he had a lot of drama to deal with and a lot of pieces that didn't fit the Lego set that they gave him. So that's my thoughts on Darvin Ham's firing. And until next time, I'll see you next time.